Because everyone has that test. The one that passes locally but fails in CI right before a release or on a random Tuesday. And in 2026, this hurts even more because now AI is writing a lot of our test code. So the real question is not, is Selenium or Playwright faster? The real question is, which one is safer when AI is writing your test? Let me show you. I'm going to ask AI to write a test for a simple user flow. Write a Selenium Java test that opens automationexercise.com, goes to products and clicks the first product. This code looks fine, right? We've all written stuff like this in Selenium. And honestly, it probably works on your laptop. But in CI or on slower machine, it starts breaking, usually in two very familiar ways. Either Selenium says the element is not found, or you get a stale element reference exception. Basically, the page is still loading, or React is still doing something, or the DOM changed at the wrong time. Write a Playwright test that opens automationexercise.com, goes to products, and clicks the first product. This is even simpler. But here's the important difference. In Playwright, these actions automatically wait for the page, for the element, for it to be clickable, for the DOM to be stable. So when AI writes simple code, in Playwright, simple code is usually fine. In Selenium, it will usually fail. Now let me show you another place where AI plus Selenium becomes slightly awkward. Imagine you want to test something like a chat app or an admin approving something for a user. So you need two users in the same test. If you ask AI to write this in Selenium, it usually does one of the two things. Either it gives you code for only one user, or it gives you two completely separate tests. Sometimes it tries to open two browsers and then things get messy. Because in Selenium, there is no simple first-class concept of two isolated users in one test. You have to manage profiles, drivers, or sessions yourself. Now look at how Playwright thinks about this. In Playwright, one browser can have multiple contexts. Think of a context like an incognito window. Same browser process, but completely separate cookies, storage, and login. So the mental model is very simple here. One context is one user. If you want two users, you create two contexts. And this is where AI becomes much more useful. When you ask AI for a Playwright test with two users, it can naturally generate something like this. That's it. No profiles, no driver juggling, no weird setup. This is a first-class concept in Playwright. In Selenium, you're basically asking AI to invent your architecture for you. In Playwright, you're just using the tool the way it was designed. That is a big difference. Now let's talk about something that makes your test much faster and much more stable. Most UI tests waste time preparing data. For example, log in, add items to cart, go through 3 pages just to reach the page you actually want to test. With Playwright, you can mix API and UI in the same test. Use API to prepare the state, use UI to verify the real behavior. So instead of clicking through 5 pages, you start the test exactly where you need to be.
Faster, less flaky, more focused tests.
Now usually when people see multi-user and hybrid test, the next question is, okay, but how do I handle login, OTP or MFA? I've already made a full Playwright video on that. Watch that next and then come back to this one. And finally, debugging. When a Selenium test fails, you usually get a stack trace or maybe a screenshot if you added it yourself. Playwright has something better, the trace viewer. If a test fails, Playwright can record every action, every screenshot, every network call, and you can literally scrub through the test timeline and see what happened step by step. So yes, Selenium still works. But in a world where AI is writing more and more of our test code, you want a tool that is safe by default. That's Playwright. If this was useful, subscribe for more real-world Playwright and testing content. And don't forget to check the MFA video. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.